In this video, you'll learn how to create a content distribution strategy for more traffic and eyeballs to your blog posts, landing pages, videos, and more. You'll learn the methodology we've used to help brands and startups like Pipedrive, Tide, and Yak to drive attention to their content as soon as it's published without having to wait for Google to index your pages. Before we dive into the 4 key distribution pillars that will fuel all of your content promotion efforts, we first need to understand the methodology behind them. The old way to conduct content promotion used to look something like this. Source a bunch of tactics, channels, and influencers, and then cast as wide a net as possible to drive traffic. But that simply doesn't work anymore. And the reason? Well, because it's not rooted in a channel-native strategy. So what do I mean by this? Let's say your ICP is most active on LinkedIn and a handful of Slack communities. Knowing this, most marketers simply add these to an ever-growing laundry list of channels to dump their content on. But there are 2 major problems with commoditizing channels in this way. First and foremost, you're not creating content native to the platforms you're looking to generate attention on. For example, repurposing content for LinkedIn without customizing the original source for what works on that channel will see very minimal results. Similarly, by simply sharing links to your content on those Slack communities, you'll quickly earn a reputation as a spammer and likely get kicked out for going against community guidelines. So what's a better approach? Finding content channel fit. This means working within the context of each channel, building intentional relationships with influencers and other thought leaders in your space. Think of it as distributing your ideas and the value you'll bring to your audience, not just the content asset you're trying to drive eyeballs to. While this might sound daunting, there are actually only 4 content distribution pillars that you need to focus on, each with a methodology that can be applied to any channel where you're looking to get attention. The first is content repurposing, repackaging your ideas and content for social and other publishing channels in a contextual manner. Let's say you want to attract and build an audience on LinkedIn. The old way of repurposing content would involve taking a chunk of your existing blog article, tweaking it just a little bit, and posting it as is. But again, this is ineffective because it doesn't take into account how LinkedIn rewards content built specifically for its platform. So what's the right approach to this? By using your content as reference material, not a source. In other words, take the underlying message and value delivered in your existing content and use it to fuel original content for each platform. For example, our guide to product-led content dives deep into, you guessed it, how to create product-led content, complete with examples, breakdowns, and step-by-step guidance. However, when we repurposed it for LinkedIn, it looks something like this. Start by narrowing your approach. Instead of spreading yourself across multiple channels, focus on just one. Nail the execution and move on to another once you've seen results and built out systems that help you scale. Next, select the theme or angle from your existing content that you want to expand on for other channels. This can be the overarching structure or a specific section. For example, with our product-led content guide, we could have summarized each of the steps covered in the entire guide itself. But we could also dive into one specific element or section, which actually brings me to one of the biggest benefits to content repurposing. You can produce dozens and dozens of additional pieces of content from a single long-form article. Consider looking to the ideas or guidance that didn't make the cut to your original piece of content. A section or theme may not have a place in your SEO content, but it might do extremely well on LinkedIn. And in that same vein, don't consider an idea a failure because it doesn't perform well on social channels. Sometimes this can simply be because of the hook or format that you've chosen. Consider waiting a few weeks and trying again using a different format, framework, or angle. But you might be asking, won't my audience get bored with the same message? And the answer is no. That's the beauty of social. You can repeat your message over and over again in new ways to reach a wider audience or solidify your ideas with your existing audience. Another often overlooked repurposing channel is email. If you send a regular email newsletter, make sure you feature your most important content in every issue. And if you're following a hub and spoke strategy for SEO, you could include your pillar pages or digital PR content if you're aiming to generate links, which we'll talk about later. Email is still one of the best channels for reaching your existing audience of subscribers, leads, and customers. Use it to its full potential. And remember, a good content repurposing strategy is a good social media or community marketing strategy. Let the channel lead. not the content that you're trying to promote. The next content distribution principle is influencer collaboration. Now, back in the day, marketers would quote influencers in their articles, share it with them when it goes live, and hope they share it with their audiences. But this quickly became ineffective. Like all outreach approaches, it experienced widespread abuse. Influencer inboxes became bogged down by emails that all looked alike due to the outreach scripts that gained popularity. Today, a better approach is not to see influencers and experts as a resource you can bleed dry, but as potential partners to collaborate with. By collaborate, I mean working towards a shared goal. For example, most thought leaders are looking to amplify their own message and ideas while growing an audience. By getting them involved in your content, you allow them to share their stories, expertise, and experiences. When the time comes to publish, you'll have established a relationship, making them far more likely to share your content. Why? Because you created it together. Most importantly, this approach makes your content far more authoritative. You're injecting third-party experiences into your content, making it more impartial and trustworthy. Which of course sends a strong EEAT signal to Google, improving the likelihood of better search performance. To get started with influencer collaboration, take this approach. First, identify the movers and shakers you want to engage with. Pair them with the topics in your editorial calendar that they're best suited to contribute to. Then, connect with them on LinkedIn or find their email address using a tool like Hunter. Build out a CRM to keep track of each contact and the channel you're using to reach them. Send a personalized email or LinkedIn message that states a relevant reason why you want them involved in your content. Share what the article is about, as well as what's in it for them, such as access to your list of existing customers or subscribers. If you're writing a guest post for another prominent blog or publication, even better. In fact, we found an increase in response rates from potential partners and influencers when getting them involved with guest posts that we've written for publications like Moz, Content Marketing Institute, and the Shopify blog. Why? Because it's a great hook. Everyone in the industry knows of these brand names, and so for influencers, getting involved is a no-brainer. Finally, consider tapping into your existing network or partnerships. For example, if you're growing a SaaS platform, look to your integration partners. How can you help each other get more results from your content and marketing efforts? For our next pillar, consider investing a small amount of your paid media budget into content amplification. Now, acquiring cold traffic has become more expensive than ever, but using content as the fuel for your advertising efforts can reduce customer acquisition costs and help you generate leads at all stages of the funnel. Coupling paid media with content makes for a killer combo. Not only can you drive affordable traffic to your blog articles, reports, and other bits and pieces from your content portfolio, but you can also build out custom audiences on Meta and LinkedIn to retarget your readers later on. If you're just getting started, invest a couple of $100 or so on your first content amplification campaign. Start small and measure results over time. Most algorithms are pretty smart these days at figuring out who your ads are for and ensuring it gets in front of them. But it can take a minute or two for them to get the targeting right. Be patient and wait a week or two for your ads to see positive engagement. And by this, I mean expect to see your average time on page to look pretty trash for the first few days. Give it time. Most importantly though, dial in your creative and messaging. If you have design resources for your blog article headers and other visual pieces of content, consider creating different versions of these for social. Similar to what we explored earlier, use copy that works within the context of how each ad platform works. Your goal is to stop the scroll, so do be creative, but don't forget to get to the crux of the value that you're delivering. Why should people leave the platform that they're on to go and read your content? And finally, get the most bang for your buck by building out custom content audiences. Retarget your readers with other relevant articles and even lead magnets so you can continue reaching and nurturing them via email. Now, let's talk about links. No matter what anyone tells you, they still matter for SEO. But when it comes to distributing your message and ideas, most link building campaigns fall flat. The old way of building links involved finding other relevant pages, prospecting a list of editors or webmasters, and reaching out to them requesting they link to your page. But like many outreach approaches, it's used and abused. And the majority of content creators you're looking to reach are sick of them. So instead of trying to force a link to content that doesn't necessarily warrant them, create something that editors, content creators, and journalists truly want to link to. For example, in 2023, remote hiring platform Deal created the State of Global Hiring report, where they pulled data from thousands of global worker contracts from all over the world. Using this data, they shared trends around salaries, employment terminations, and even the fastest growing regions and countries for remote hiring. The best part about this report, it was made using data they already owned, generating over 130 backlinks in the process. A digital PR-led approach to link building and brand awareness is incredibly effective, especially if you want to establish yourself as a thought leader in your space. So, take a leaf from Deal's book and start by looking at your owned data and resources. Can you take product data and package it in a way that shares insights on trends and habits happening in your industry? Another popular digital PR content format is surveys. Here, you'd pick a theme, build out a series of questions, and send them to a cohort of your ICP. To do this, first, choose your topic. You can either go broad, such as Pipedrive's State of Sales report, or dig deep into specific and popular themes, like Superpath's Content Marketing Salary Report. Then, select which issues and trends you want to dive into, as well as the questions that will help you yield the most interesting insights. For example, the SEMrush State of Content Marketing report surveyed over 1,500 content marketers about the success of their content programs. This included the strategies they prioritize, effective SEO tactics, and their biggest content marketing challenges. From these responses, they were able to share insights into which strategies and tactics are used by the most successful content and marketing teams, as well as actionable insights that readers could take away and apply to their own content marketing efforts. But they also got other experts and influencers involved in the study, sharing their experiences and expertise to provide even more value around the report. While this made the content more credible, it also unlocked a distribution channel when launching the study, encouraging these influencers to share it with their audiences. Are you starting to see a pattern here? At the end of the day, good content distribution is about serving your audience and creating content within the context of the channels you're looking to get attention on. And if you're looking to learn more about these channels, make sure you subscribe. We'll be diving into more social content and digital PR methodologies in later videos. But for now, find what works for you, build systems around them, and then scale up to maximize your results.